Well, um, I guess this is sort of turning into a diary or my memoirs. I have so many stories I would like to tell. If something happens to me, they're out there. So, my sponsor, or former sponsor, depending on how you decide to look at it, her name is June, and she's older than me. And I met her over 20 years ago. There's a Capuchin monastery in Beacon, New York. I think it's still there. And at the time, which was well over 20 years ago, they had 12-step meetings. Like, in other words, anyone who's familiar with 12-step programs, generally, churches avail themselves, churches in certain places will like rent out, like they'll allow there to be a meeting there once a week at a certain time, and the like the group throws money into a pot every week and pays rent. You give them a little money because they allow you to use the basement of the church or a spare room in the monastery, for an hour a week. So anyway, yeah, I remember going to the Capuchin monastery, over 20 years ago. I don't know if I was working at that point. It was like a daytime meeting. But anyway, I remember going to this meeting and being outside. Someone had the key, so we would have to wait outside. We would kind of congregate outside the door and gossip. And sometimes, like, one of the monks would hear us and come out or whatever. And so, come out and let us in. So I remember one time, being outside, and this older woman comes in. Now, at the time, she was older than me. And looking back, she probably, at the time, was the age that I am now. But, excuse me. She had some kind of like cast or thing around like her ankle and her foot or whatever. And so I remember this woman came in, and her name was June. We were outside, and the door was now open, and I held the door open for her because I saw that she had a thing on her foot. And she kind of like yelled at me like, I could get it myself. You don't have to do that for me. And I remember thinking to myself, ooh, she's crabby. And then I said, well, in my head, well, look at her foot. No wonder, because I had at one point in my life, when I was about 30 or 33, broke my ankle, and I was like in a cast, and then I had a walking cast. And then other times in my life, after meeting June, I had surgery and was in a cast. But back then, all I could reference was my experience. So I thought, oh, she's probably in pain or whatever, right? But like I kind of was like a little leery about her because she was so like prickly. So anyway, that one time, that was it. And then I got to know her pretty quick, and she really, really was a great person. She is a great person. I still talk to her just about every day. And, we became friends. She was at my kids' graduation parties. She knows a lot about me. God, I've told her things, that were where I sounded really ugly, like being very honest and just telling her what I was thinking and what I was feeling. Because when you have like a sponsor-sponsee relationship, you're not really judging. You're just there for that person, and they should be able to let their hair down, and you try to help them or direct them. And sometimes it's just a matter of listening and accepting and not trying to judge them. But anyway, so, so, you know, generally a person's first impression carries over into who they are, but in her case, it wasn't the first impression. Her first impression that time that I first met her was not who she was. Another time in my life, my children, I took them to church when they were younger, and they were in like a youth program. So sort of to integrate and make things go more smoothly, I joined certain things with that church. Some of it was for social, but some I thought would be good for kids for me to be involved. And so one of the things that I was involved with for some time, not a lengthy time, but a good amount of time, was a Christian ladies group. And it was more of a social thing, but there was a little bit of maybe prayer or a little Bible talking for like 3 minutes before we did the social activity. And most of the women were older, but some of them were my age or even younger. It was like a nice little mix. And some of the activities were more fun than others. But anyway, out of this group, most of the women were very congenial to me. And there was one woman that just seemed like a sourpuss. And I just kind of held off on her demeanor or whatever. But like I just kind of was like tiptoeing around her because she just seemed like a sourpuss. Or I thought maybe she hated me or she didn't like me. And I was trying to think, well, what did I do? I don't know. So I remember back then I wasn't the person I am now. I was a lot more naive. So I remember at Christmas, back then people would give out Christmas cards still. So I remember like getting like a really nice box of Christmas cards that was kind of geared towards like the woman in this group. And so I made out Christmas cards to everyone. And I think I might have gotten like some lollipops or candies and kind of taped it to the card. So it was like a miniature gift with the card. And I remember giving them out to the woman in the group. We had like a Christmas party. And all these women that were very congenial and friendly, none of them gave me a Christmas card. But the cranky pants gave me a beautiful Christmas card and wrote this long personal note. It seemed very heartfelt and sincere, and I was so happy. And I think I gushed, but it was like sincere. I wasn't like manipulating. And she smiled, and the cranky pants thing just evaporated. It was like kind of a strange experience. And I remember it after all these years. So sometimes, we think that somebody is not liking us or they're cranky or maybe they're just in pain. June was in pain with her foot. And I don't know what was going on with this woman. I can't remember her name, but I remember what she looked like. And I thought like she didn't like me, and it wasn't that she didn't like me. It turned out that she liked me a lot. It was something was going on with her. Maybe it was medical. I don't recall. But I talked yesterday about like dating and online and all this stuff, Match.com. I also dated from real life too, but it's funny. Every man that I ever met from the internet said, "You're a lot nicer and sweeter in person than I thought you would be because your ad, you sounded like a real bitch." And I was like, well, if you like put an ad on Mats or Plenty of Fish and you seem like a doormat, you're going to attract like nasty, usury, horrible men. So you kind of do have to seem a little... But they were like, no, you're really a lot nicer. I was almost afraid. And I was like, what? So people sometimes present, whether it's in person, face to face, or online, like I have a YouTube channel, and a lot of times I'm being facetious and tongue-in-cheek. So I probably present a lot meaner than I really am. But like if you come across as being this, caring, bleeding heart type person, the con artist will come at you full force. I mean, I am a caring person, or at least I think I'm a caring person, but I'm not easily manipulated anymore. So anyway, that's my story for today. That generally first impressions are correct, but sometimes they're not. I would say 20% of the times you meet a person and you think one thing about them, and because you don't really know, you're going based off of, you don't really know them. You're basing it off of one thing, but there's really something else going on. So, anyway, I'm probably going to call June later today, and I don't know if I'm going to tell her that she's half of the topic of a YouTube video. Everybody have a great day. Bye.